Hello, Chris here, and you've probably gathered that for the entirety of this video you're not going to see my face because I could have the camera facing me, but really this is a how to do something video, so it's probably better if I film the video from the perspective that you're going to be solving a cube from. Anyway, with this being Autistic Not Weird's 5th anniversary, decided to ask people what kind of video they wanted to celebrate with, or what kind of thing they wanted to celebrate with. And the one suggestion that got basically unanimous approval was me teaching you how to solve Rubik's Cube. So, yep, that's what I'm going to do. And very first things very first, I imagine a bunch of people may be watching this and thinking, oh, that's something that I'll just never be able to do. And, well, in all fairness, that was me last year. My record is now 19.1 seconds, but the very first time I managed to solve a cube independently was August the 2nd last year. So really not that long ago. By the way, I'm aware that the camera's focusing and refocusing and is really awkward, and I can't think of anything that I can do about it. If anyone has any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments, but I think it's just something we're just going to have to cope with. So, anyway, yeah, 30 people watching now. So, yeah, I got the impression that this might end up being a subject that people may be interested in. So what I'm going to do is take you very slowly through each step, and the very first thing I'm going to do is go through a couple of basic concepts which will help with the understanding of the rest of it. So first off, there are centerpieces: the white, the green, the orange, red, and so on. And one of the very first things that isn't immediately obvious until it's pointed out, but those centers never move. For example, you could do this, you could do that, you could do all of these things, but the white and the yellow are always opposite each other. The green and the blue are always opposite. The red and the orange are always opposite. No matter what you do, no matter how much you mess it up, those centers never move relative to each other. So that actually simplifies it quite a bit. And also it helps to have your cube facing one particular way. For beginners, it's suggested, for whatever reason, that you have the white face at the bottom, the yellow face at the top. You rotate it if necessary, but the white stays at the bottom. And the reason behind that is just it's a lot easier to focus on what you're doing than if you're just rolling the cube all over and you're not quite sure what you're focusing on. So white goes at the bottom, yellow goes at the top. Mathematically, the colours don't matter, but that's just what the community has decided is best. You might as well pick a colour, so let's pick white at the bottom, yellow at the top. So I'll tell you basically what the solve includes right now. The concept is easy. I'm not saying that solving the cube is easy, but it's like running 100 meters in 10 seconds is simple. It is not easy, but it's a simple enough concept. You start there, you finish there, you don't take much time to do it. So the concept of doing this is really easy. The actual act of doing it becomes easy once you've practiced enough. So what you do first is you do the white cross, that one white, that one white, that one white, that one white. Then you do the white corners. Once you've done that, you've done the first layer. By the way, one popular misconception from people who try to solve Rubik's Cube is that you do one face, then you do another face, then you do another face, and so on. Don't do that. Do it layer by layer. Bottom layer, middle layer, top layer. So, white cross, white corners. After that, you've done the first layer. Then, because the centers never move, you've already got those in place, so you just do the second layer, that one, that one, that one, and that one. After that, you turn to the top, yellow cross, yellow corners, and after that you just need to make sure that the third layer is permuted properly, and then you've done the whole thing. So in terms of concept, it's nothing magically complicated to understand. It just takes a lot of practice before you can practically do it. So let's dive straight into it. Like I said, the very first thing you do is white cross. By the way, is anyone else getting really annoyed by the camera refocusing, or is it just me? And if you have any suggestions on how to make sure it doesn't happen, please suggest them to me, because I'm kind of clueless. But let's get these white pieces. Here we go. There's one. There's another one. Ignore the corners. Does not matter whether they're white or not. And that one there. And that one there. So that's the kind of thing you're looking for. Except that is not quite correct. Because remember, this is the important bit. You remember when I said the centers never move? That red bit is always there. That white bit is always there. So the only bit that could possibly go there is the bit that is red there and white there. So that piece is in the correct position. The only bit that could possibly go there is one that is green there and is white there. So that is not in the right position. That one is, because it's orange there, like the center is, and white there, like the center is. And that one's in the wrong place. So if we were to swap those round, that is correct. That one is correct. That one is correct. That one is correct. That one is correct. Now, that in itself is quite complicated, but one thing that simplifies it quite a bit if you're an absolute beginner is a method called the white flower method. Sorry, the yellow flower method. Basically, do exactly what I did there, except do them around the red bit, because it doesn't matter which order you do the colours in. Let me demonstrate. So, focus. Let's put that one at the top, that one's at the top, that one's at the top, and now that one's at the top. There you go. Yellow flower right there. Now the reason that's useful is because now we can keep moving them around until you've got one that's above its own centerpiece. Move it 180 degrees and bang, it's in the correct position. Nothing else. Let's move it again. Oh, that matches up. There you go. That one's in the right position. And so is that one. Move that one. There you go. You now have the white cross. Ignore these bits for now. That one actually is in the right place, but completely by coincidence, because the next bit, let me demonstrate to you. Next bit is doing the white corners. So much the same as this one can only go between the blue and the white, this corner right here that is white, blue and red, the only piece on the whole cube that can go is right there between the white, the blue and the red. So in theory, if you were to push that down right there, it's in the correct position. White, blue, red, yeah? Except I can't just do that right now, because see that piece there? If I push that down there, then the other piece is moved out of the way. So how on earth do you get that one down there without moving that? Well, what you do is you push it out of the way, then you bring this bit up. You then do the reverse of the two moves you just did, so bring this one back, and notice how they're nice and lined up. Bring it back down, and suddenly you have that one in its perfect place, and that one's not moved. So let's do that with another one. Let's take this one. This one is white, green and orange, so it must go between the white, the green and the orange. But of course we can't just push it down, even though that would put it into the right position, because it pushes the other stuff out of the way. So we push it out of the way, we bring this one up, bring it back, and now this one's in the right place. Kirsty says, no idea how I did it, but I have a white cross. Yep, well done, and it's encouraging to hear that people are following along with their own cubes. By the way, when you say you got the white cross, just double checking, you do have them matched up with the centers above them, like this one is orange-white, this one is blue-white, and so on, yeah? So next one, let's take this one, which is blue, orange, and white. That can only go between the blue, the orange, and the white, so we want to put that down there, except obviously you got that one there, so you move it out the way, bring this up, push it back, bring it down. Now, one last thing. Oh, actually, by the way, if you have one that's on the top there, then that makes it pretty awkward. So what you do is you put it over where it needs to be, push it up, move it around a bit, bring it down. Because then suddenly, as if by magic, it's on the side and not on the top. And we can do it if it's on the side. As I just said, you move it out of the way, you bring that up, and so on and so on. I've mentioned that enough times. But it's important that you move it the right way. If you were to move it out of the way by doing this, then bringing that up... Wait, hold on, where's it gone? Oh, it's down there. So, no, that's not the way you do it. You move it that way, so the white side is facing away. Then you bring this up, bring it across, bring it down. Then suddenly, look at that, you've solved the whole of the first layer. So I'll go through that again just briefly. Just pan scramble it, doesn't really matter how scrambled it is. Oh, okay, I probably want it a bit more scrambled than that. Okay, so let's do the yellow flower method. That one's next to the yellow. That one is next to the yellow. That one can come up there. Let's push that. And that one wants to come up there. So let's move it out of the way. There you go. Yellow flower. So that one is above the orange center, so let's move that down. That's in the perfect place now. That one is above the blue center, so that one's in the perfect place now. That one is now above the green center, so that one's in the perfect place now. That one is above... There you go. Now we have the perfect white cross. You can ignore the corners for now, that's not relevant. The important bit is the white cross. And now let's do the corners. So this one, which is white, red, green. There's white, red, green, so it needs to go down there. So move it out the way, bring this one up, bring this back, push it back down. Let's move that one there. That one's between the orange and the blue, so out the way, bring it up, bring that there. That one, white, blue, red, needs to go there, so bring it out the way, bring it up. And rather awkwardly, we've got that one on top, but nonetheless, let's bring it above where it needs to be. Push it. And now it's on the side. And then out the way, bring it up, bring it back, down. And then you've got the whole of the first layer. And it's funny how Vanessa's just left that comment hoping I can replay this later. Well, first off, yes, you definitely will be able to. And also, because I was just about to say, this is normally the point if I was teaching someone face-to-face that I would say, you know what, that's enough for today. This is enough to memorize in one lesson. Practice it, because there's now we're entering algorithm territory, which sounds really intimidating, but well, trust me, it's not. It's fine. But it is. There's going to be quite a few algorithms to memorize, and it's not as complicated as it sounds. But because there's a big bunch of them, it's better to take this a little bit at a time. So feel free to watch this whole video through. I'm not expecting everyone to understand it all the way through, but thankfully this is a video, which means you will be able to watch it again and again and again, and you can pause, rewind, and so on. And it means that I can go through the entirety of the explanation without worrying about whether people are catching up, because I am not expecting people to be caught up here. Yeah, if you can do that after one lesson, that is good. With that said, I'm now going to teach you how to do the second layer. So I mentioned algorithms. Algorithms sound really complicated, sound a little bit intimidating, but there's nothing really complicated about it. An algorithm is simply moves made in a certain order. That is it. So there is an algorithm, or a sequence of movements, which puts that one there without disturbing any of those. Because that one being red, that one being green, the only piece that could possibly go there is the one that is red there and green there. So that one. We want that one to go there, so it's between the red and the green. Except we can't do that without pushing all that, unless we use this algorithm. And the algorithm is this. I'll go through it now, and if it confuses you, that's fair enough. That's a very human reaction, but I will be going through this a couple of times. So this one to go down there. Move it away, bring the corner up, then do the reverse of the two moves you just did. You may notice you got these two nicely lined up. Bring it too far, because you want it there, so push it too far. Bring the front back, and then do the reverse of the two moves you just did. And then suddenly, that one is there, and the bottom is completely unaffected by it. So that one down there, by the way, you can do it on the other side as well. You just do the mirror image of what it did. That's why I'm not using left and right in this. I'm just using away and towards and so on. So to put this one there, because green and orange, you move, first off, you make sure that it's above its own center color. Move the top layer away, move the corner up, do the reverse of the two you just did. So you got these two together. Push it too far, twist the front back, reverse of the two you just did. And that one's there. The thing is, if you go on sites which teach you how to solve Rubik's Cube, they'll use lots of Rubik's Cube notation. And by the way, for the next couple of minutes, do not expect to understand any of it. I'm simply mentioning this for context. Yeah, because if you hold Rubik's Cube together, it's not. How do I put this? The best way of recording Rubik's Cube solves is by writing down what the moves are. And this is the up face, which we call U. That is the down face, which we call D. This is F for front, this is B for back, and L and R for left and right. Now, if you look at the notation, and do not be intimidated by this, because you don't need to know it right now, a clockwise move on the upper face is called U. An anti-clockwise move on the upper face is called U with an apostrophe next to it, which is called U prime. I have no idea why they chose prime, but it's just what it is. Likewise, a clockwise move on the right is called R. An anti-clockwise move is R prime, as in R apostrophe. So when some sites teach you how to do this, they teach you in terms of U, R prime, and so on, and L2, and it's just so confusing. So yeah, there's no expectation for you to do that. In fact, I was talking to the Patreon group earlier about why they don't need to know this. The fact is, I can play a guitar and I can't read music. Okay, I can approximately play a guitar and I can't read music. I don't need to be able to read a sheet of paper in order to let my fingers do the work on the guitar. And in much the same way, if you want to get really good at solving a Rubik's Cube, then eventually learning the notation will become necessary. But if you just want to know literally how to do one, you don't need to do that yet. With that said, let's carry on with this algorithm that I told you about before. And yeah, so I just catching up on comments, see if anyone's asking any questions. You're welcome to ask questions, by the way. There's a chance I might see the comments while I'm doing this. So moving this one down there, and I could tell you that it's U prime, L prime, U, L, and so on. But well, no, who wants that? I'm going to try teaching this in human terms, as in away towards and so on. So this one's go there, push it away from where it needs to go, bring the corner up, do the reverse of the two moves you just did, push it too far, flip the front back, the reverse of the two you just did. And then one more right here. Let's put the red above the red. That one needs to go there. So again, away, up, reverse the two you just did. Too far, flip back, reverse the two you just did. There you go, first two layers done. Now, at this point, I would absolutely say that is enough for today. Memorize all of this first before you go further. But again, because this is a video, I can just keep going and you can pause and replay later if you want, because now it's time to do the top face, or the upper face. And what you're aiming for is the yellow cross. After that, you do the yellow corners. Now, for the next few minutes, ignore the yellow corners. It does not matter whether these are yellow or whether they're not. You do the same thing either way. In terms of the yellow cross, there are 4 possible things you could have at some point. At this point, once you've done the first 2 layers, you could either have just that dot on its own. You could be really lucky and have all 4 of them just already done, in which case just move to the corners. Or you can have 2 of them, and those 2 can either be in this position here, or they can be straight across from each other. If you have only 1 of these edge pieces, or if you have 3 of these edge pieces, then either you've not completed the 2 layers yet, or if you have completed the 2 layers and you have 1 or you have 3, then someone has twisted the cube and made it unsolvable. Because once you've done the first 2 layers, you either have none of them, 2 of them, or all 4 of them. Now, what you do next depends on whether the 2 you have are in this position or in this position. The 2 algorithms are almost identical. And I could talk to you about F, U prime, whatever. But my personal name for this when I was learning. I used to call this the lock-unlock method, or the unlock-lock method. I came up with lots of nicknames for each algorithm, and they probably won't make sense in anyone else's head, but that's okay, because my head was the only head it needed to make sense in. But in my head it was unlock, do this, lock, or the other way, that's lock. Because both of these algorithms I'm about to teach you start with twisting the front and finish with twisting the front back. Oh, phone's only on 15% battery. Okay, fair enough. Oh, well done, Vanessa, for getting the white cross. So, getting the yellow cross, if you have two in this position, first off, make sure they're pointing towards 9 o'clock. And what you do is unlock, as I used to call it, turn it to 3, and then you're breaking this like this. So, bring the right side up. Then you do the reverse of the two moves you just did, as in you turn that back, then you turn that back, and then you twist that back in place. And then you've got the yellow cross. Let's undo that. So, again, if you have this, make sure it's looking at 9 o'clock, as in that looks like 9 o'clock on a clock. Twist the front, bring it to 3, reverse the two moves you just did, then bring that back. The alternative is if you have these, and again, ignore the yellow corners. Does not matter how many of these corners are yellow. The only thing that matters at this point are the edges. If you got this position, then you do it almost the same. You make sure the line's horizontal. You turn the front, except you do the moves the other way around. You do the right hand side first, and then you twist the top. Then you do the reverse of the two moves you just did, and then there you go. You've got all of them. So, yeah, you just need to remember which way around it is. And by the way, if you only have the yellow dots and you don't have any of these, then you do both of them one after the other. That's it. After that, you do the yellow corners. And here is probably my favourite algorithm for the beginner's method. I call it the up twist, down twist for what will become really obvious reasons. What you're doing is the same algorithm again and again and again until you just get them all on top. But what you need to do is, if you do have a yellow corner already in place, make sure you have one of them at the bottom left. So up, twist, down, twist, up, twist, twist, down. And that's it. Up, twist, down, twist, up, twist, twist, down. Up, twist, down, twist, up, twist, twist, down. And what you're looking for is the fish. So it's basically all 4 of the cross pieces plus 1 corner there. And if you have the fish and that particular face there is yellow, then you only need to do it once more and then you finished it. If you got the fish, remembering that needs to be in that specific corner, and you don't have it there, that's fine. You just need to do it twice. But basically make sure that a solved corner piece is in the bottom left corner, then just keep doing the same algorithm until you get what you want. So up, twist, down, twist, up, twist, twist, down. And oh, here we go, we've got another fish. Let's make sure that is in the corner, and this time we do have that yellow face there. So up, twist, down, twist, up, twist, twist, down. And we've done it. So that just leaves making sure that we get all of these the right way around. And normally you have, I'll get to that in a minute. So I'll show you what the algorithm is. It's a complicated one, but again, the more times you do it, the less complicated it is. There you go. Didn't that look complicated? And the first time you do something, it is complicated. But after you've been doing them for ages, it becomes really simple. But the thing is, I'm trying to get to a specific case here because... here we go. This one will do. So what you're looking for is headlights at the back. If you have these headlights in the same colour there and a different one in the middle, have those at the back and then do the algorithm, which I'll go through in just a second. But if you don't have it at the back, then just do the algorithm anyway, because the reason this is even though it's a complicated algorithm, they've chosen it for the beginner's method because if you do it enough times, you will just end up getting what you want. If you don't have headlights at the back, do it, and then you should have headlights at the back. If you do, then keep them at the back, do it once, and then you're down to the last algorithm. So, here it is. Right side down, front face clockwise, right face down again. Then, rotate 180 degrees at the back. Then I used to call this the retreat because you're going back the way you came and back the way you came. Then moving this forward. What you have is a nice Tetris piece there. That's how you know you're getting it right if you have this Tetris piece. Then flip the back twice, flip this up, and then that's the algorithm. And you're very close to just getting it now. So I'll go through it again. Right side down, clockwise, down again, and then flip the back twice. There you go, there's your Tetris piece. Then retreat by bringing that back, bring that anti-clockwise, bring that down, and hey, your Tetris piece. And then twist that twice, and then you're done. So I'll do that once more, and then I'll teach you how to do the very final algorithm that solves the rest of it. So headlights at the back, down, clockwise, down, do the back, retreat, bring that forward, Tetris piece, back twice, right and twice, and there you go. So we're nearly done now. So we've got that one that needs to go there, that one needs to go there, that one needs to go there, that one needs to go there. We just got those 4 pieces to switch and then we're done. What normally happens, like the majority of the time here, is that you've got one side at the back that's completely done and then just 3 that need rotating around. This is one of those rare cases where we have all 4 that need rotating around, but that's completely fine because just like the last one, the final algorithm I'm about to teach you, the only difference between what you do normally and what you do now is that this time you do the same thing twice. I call this the downy-uppy, and it's very important you remember it's called the downy-uppy and not the uppy-downy, because there's a bit of a difference between them. So it involves twisting the front 180 degrees, and then, well, you'll see as it goes. So 180 degrees, turn left or right. In this particular case it doesn't matter, let's just say this way, and then downy, twist, uppy, then turn it the same way that you did the first time, flip it back round, and then almost done now. So what we have now is that one that needs to go there, that one that needs to go there, that one that needs to go there, and that's it. Or James says that's a Yushin Little Magic, and yep, you're absolutely right, I do love Yushin Little Magics. That's the brand name of the cube. Really cheap, really fast, and just gets on with the hands really well. So, how do we put that one there, and that one there, without messing up everything else? Well, we do the downy-uppy. I think it's called an X-perm in... can't remember. There's J-perms and G-perms and all the rest of them. I can remember most of them. I just remember this one as the beginner method, but there is a proper name for it. But it's not like when you're a beginner you care about the names of things. Just call it something you remember. I just call it the downy-uppy. So this one needs to go left. Remember that, because that's where we're going to put it. So 180 degrees. We said we were pushing it left, so let's do that. Downy, uppy, move it to the left again, and then boom, done. Vanessa says you could probably make a career out of private chat tutorials. You know what? You never know. I'm already doing Skype consultation for autism-related stuff. So, oh yeah, by the way, quick plug since Vanessa mentioned it. If you have something that you want to talk about, want to consult an autistic advocate / educator about, I do Skype consultations. You know what? If you want to be taught about solving a Rubik's Cube or taught chess or something, feel free to chat to me as well. Just send me an inbox message and I'll see what I can do. James says he's still learning full OLL. Yeah. What James means by full OLL is that, you know, when you've done the first 2 layers and you've got some yellow bits that are on here and some that are not, there are 57 different ways of that being organised, and for each one there's an algorithm for just getting all of them on the top straight away. I've memorized about 25 of them so far. And for the others, that's fine, because I just use the lock unlock thing that I was talking about earlier, and that gets me to one that I do know how to do. And how on earth did you get an average of under 13 seconds? That's incredible. My record right now is 19.1 seconds. My average is about 32-ish seconds. But yeah, well played, James. Right, so what I'm going to do now is go through all of this using the beginner method at a relatively slow speed, but this is the kind of thing that that you're looking for. So I know James says he knows full PLL and learning OLL. Yeah, PLL is when first two layers are done, all of the top phases done, and sorting these, just all of these. There are, I think it's 17 different algorithms for that. As of this last weekend, I now know them all. Before that, I knew most of them, but I've just recently learned full PLL. Anyway, moving this back to the beginner method. So, white cross. First off, let's make the yellow flower. You don't have to make the yellow flower, you could just try putting them straight down there, if you can get them all right, but let's keep it really, really simple. Let's move them all to the top. So that one there, that one there, that one wants to go there, so let's move that there, move that there, and we want to move that, but let's move that. There you go, yellow flower. Now this one's already over the blue center, so let's move it down, that's in the right place. That one's already over the red center, let's move it down, that's in the right place. Let's move that over the orange center, move that down so that's in the right place. And that just leaves that one. There you go, white cross, and they're all in exactly the right places. I can't remember which one the end perms are. Is that the one where you have these sorted and headlights at the back? Because I've just started relearning a new algorithm for those. Okay, so corners. Well, this one can only go here between the blue, the orange, and the white. So let's bring that out of the way, bring it up, bring it back, push it down, and completely by coincidence, it has sorted that one out as well. Occasionally you do get happy accidents like that. So this one, which needs to go down here between the red, the green, and the white, let's move it out of the way, bring that one up to meet it, bring it back, push it down. And let's move that one out of the way. So that one needs to go there. So let's move it away, bring it up, bring it back, push it down. And that just leaves this one. So out of the way, bring it up, push it down. Okay, first layer done. Let's do the second layer. Now, there's only one thing we can do here, rather annoyingly, because the only thing we have on the top layer that can go down there is that one. I'll sort the rest out of it in bits, but don't want to go there. Push it away, bring the corner up. Reverse of the two moves you just did. Push it too far, bring the front back, reverse of the two moves you just did. So that one is solved, that one is solved. These two need swapping round, so first off we're going to have to bring this one out. Okay, that one goes down there, so away, corner up, reverse the two you just did. Too far, flip the front back, reverse the two you just did. And that one down there. Away, bring it up, reverse the two you just did. Too far, flip back, reverse the two you just did. Okay, so now going this, and looks like we have two again, so let's put them to 9 o'clock. Unlock, bring it to 3 o'clock, bring it up, then the reverse, the two last moves, bring that back. There you go. And now to do the corners. Now this is what James was talking about. So I know the algorithm to do this way. If you're interested, it's this. Wait, no, it's not. Actually, no, I'm not going to waste your time with that. It's the important thing from this is putting the corners on the top eventually. You can do it just in one algorithm, but there's 57 of them. You only need to know like 1 or 2. So let's do up, twist, down, twist, up, with twist, down. And oh wow, amazingly, we've got the fish straight away. And that one is yellow there, which means we're going to end up solving this just with one more. Up, twist, down, twist, up, twist, twist, down. And fancy that, we've got headlights. So let's put the headlights at the back. And this is the complicated one. Down, clockwise, down. Twist the back, Tetris piece. Retreat. Bring this back down, Tetris piece. Twist the back, twist that, and then we're nearly done, except by coincidence we got exactly the same case again, where we've got all 4 to rotate instead of just 3, which is fine. It just means we have to do the final algorithm twice instead of once. But that's hardly beyond us, is it? So this is the downy uppy one, 180 degrees. In this particular case, doesn't matter whether left or right, so let's go right. Downy, rotate, uppy, push it the same way. There we go. So we have the green side that's done. That one needs to go there, that one needs to go there, that one needs to go there. So we're pushing everything to the right. Right. Downy, uppy, that way. And it's done. So James says, when I did beginner method, when I got some of the CP cases like the headlights, you sex me for 2. Oh yeah, you get a few really weird phrases in the cubing community. For example, a sledgehammer or a sexy move. I don't know who decided to call what is commonly known as a R, U, R prime, U prime. That's called the sexy move just because it's easy to do. This, yeah. And I suppose it has some kind of appeal to it. You could just do it really quickly. And yeah, there's a bunch of really weird sounding algorithm names and things as well, and concepts. But yeah, I've basically taught you everything that you need to do in order to solve it. And beyond it is just practice. And the only other tips can really give are make sure that you're not doing this too much with the cube. If you keep the white face on the bottom, the yellow face on the top, then it makes it much simpler and a lot less confusing for yourself. Okay, if anyone has any questions or anything like that, you're welcome to ask them. What I'm going to do now is, and I'm not sure whether this is going to go right or wrong or whatever. It usually goes wrong if I'm doing it in front of other people. But I'm going to show you what it looks like when I personally do it. There we go. And after that, I think I'm going to end this video. By the way, there is a way of doing it blindfold as well. And I succeed at blindfold solving about 30%. Well, it's 50 to 60% of the time from doing it on my own. It drops to about 30% if I'm under some kind of pressure, like people watching or it's a competition or something. But my record for that is 3 and a bit minutes, I think. Anyway, so I'm going to solve this as fast as I can. Okay. Go. $32.984. That's about average for me. A few months ago, that would have been really, really impressive by my standards. So I'm wondering what it'll be like this time next year when I'm looking back at this video and thinking, wow, did I really used to take as long as 30 seconds back then? But I'd love to go back to the me who existed on August the 1st last year and tell him what would eventually come of it, but I get the feeling that not everything has come of it yet. Anyway, so James says that's good advice too. For faster speeds, keeping the cube facing one way will help with looking ahead. Forming the cross on the bottom is part of that. Yep, I agree. And for what it's worth, when you're doing this competitively, you get up to 15 seconds of inspection time to decide what you do. And during that time, you're usually spending those. Well, don't use all the 15 seconds, because if you go 15.001 seconds, it's a 2-second penalty. So use some of those seconds just planning how to make the white cross, and then after that, start doing. Once you've mastered the beginner method, you can do the first 2 layers at the same time, as in doing the corner piece and that piece. And once you learn how to do that, it slows you down at the start. But it's kind of like learning how to do joined-up handwriting. When you first learn how to do joined-up handwriting, it slows you right down. But once you're used to it, it just naturally speeds you up. Anyway, after that, there's loads more algorithms to learn and keep learning. And like I said, I don't know all of them. I know half of the ones for getting all of the yellows on the top, and as of this weekend, I now know all of the ones of getting the last layer permuted. But yeah, in terms of just knowing how to solve one and impressing your friends and so on, that's basically what you need to do. And I think that's it, other than to say thank you very much for watching. And to those who have been around Autistic and Not Weird for all 5 years or just a couple of weeks, thank you very much for being a part of this community. And I'm very grateful that that you make it what it is. And if the page has helped you, then I'm really glad of it. In case you haven't gathered, I'm just talking for the sake of talking right now, but at the same time, I really am thankful, because this is quite a significant day for me, because 5 years ago, I had well, obviously no one knows what the next 5 years are going to hold, but back then I just started this little website, kind of hoping that maybe a couple of people out there might be helped by it or something. Just something to do while I was unemployed, and was unemployed / just left the teaching profession. And now being international speaker and a award-winning writer and so on, it's I did not see any of this coming. It's quite eye-watering, really, that on this 5th anniversary to look back on everything that's happened. And yeah, thank you all for being a part of it. And to those who have watched this far, I wish you all the best with doing your own cube solves. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Cassandra says, happy anniversary. Thank you very much. Debbie says, wow, that was fast. Yeah, thank you. And James has asked me, by the way, why do you like the Yushin? It doesn't work for me. I used the R2 before I got the GAN 356R. I've got to be honest. At this stage, I'm not mega fast yet. I know that 30 seconds is impressive in general standards, but if you're doing competitive solving, like if you want to go under 20 seconds, under 15 seconds, you're going to need the really, really expensive cubes. I don't think I'm ready for that yet. I'm quite content just using relatively cheap, these are called Yushin Little Magic Cubes, because it comes from a company called Yushin. And I'm pretty sure that as I get better, and once I've learned all these finger tricks, I'll probably start getting cubes that work better with finger tricks. But for now, this is enough. I do plan to move on to like the GAN, or I'm not sure about the Volk. The Volk is, right now, it just doesn't really seem to match my hands very much. But who knows, 6 months' time, maybe it will. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you found this useful. And thank you very much for making this community what it is. Bye.